11th graders. Hi, my name is Cecily, and you and I are here together because we are going to look at an argumentative or opinion writing rubric for 11th graders based on the Common Core standards so that you are ready to attack the English Language Arts performance task on the CAASPP. You may remember that CAASPP stands for the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress. It's checking in every year to see how your reading and writing are doing and how many more times are you going to take it after this. 0. No more times. This is your last time to show what you know. So, we are here because, fortunately, there is a rubric based on the 11th grade standards and the Common Core that give you like a roadmap to help you get the best score that you can. Okay, you'll see that there are some blanks on the rubric in front of you. That's for you to fill in. There are 3 different categories that this rubric looks at. When you look at the side there, that first category, organization. Did you plan out, hopefully with your best friend, scratch paper, what you really wanted to say and the order in which you were going to say it? Organization. The second category that you can fill in is elaboration. And as you will see, elaboration is all about the facts and details that you choose to include in your essay to make it as strong and convincing as possible. Final category. It's the last one. You can fill it in there on the side. Conventions. And I like to think of conventions as being the typo category. I always recommend that before you hit submit, read it through your essay one last time just for conventions, right? Just for the capitalization and the spelling and the punctuation. Conventions. Okay. So those are our 3 categories, and you are going to be assessing a piece of writing that I did. I do want to say right off the bat, please don't be intimidated, okay? Please don't look at my essay and be like, could never write anything that amazing, because it's really just time and practice, okay? So, with your rubric in front of you, I'm going to read to you first what the task is, right? What the task is asking of us, and then I'm going to read you my paper, okay? We're going to assess it. Task. Starting in 1930, the Dust Bowl, all right, it's going to be about the Dust Bowl, brought devastating storms to people living in the Great Plains. For almost 10 years, clouds of dust in high winds killed people, livestock, and crops. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt became president in 1933, he responded immediately in the first 100 days of his presidency by enlarging the federal government and programs to provide support. Okay. As you read the 4 sources included in this performance task, take a stance on FDR's response to the Dust Bowl. Do you agree that the increased size and force of FDR's federal involvement was fair and necessary in response to the Dust Bowl crisis? Or do you disagree with FDR's approach and think that his national government became too large and more involved than it should have been? All right. We've got an opinion piece to write. And again, don't be overwhelmed by what I have created in my essay that you and I are about to assess using the rubric. Sample paper A, that's mine. Yeah, FDR created a lot of programs, and that's why it was called Alphabet Soup. But you need a lot of help in times of national crisis. That's true. but it may have set a bad precedent and made the government too big and powerful because, bureaucracy. But wow, do those dust storms look freaky or what? The end. Juniors, I apologize. I really felt like I had put more effort into this than it seems I did. But this is what I love about the rubric that you and I are going to use to assess this bad boy. What the rubric does is it gives you these very specific steps that you can take to make your writing better and better and better and better and as strong as possible. Here we go. If you would please put in, the highest score that you can get, it exceeds expectations, is a 4, right? You meet standards, meet expectations, that's a 3. That was a little lower than where I should have been for expectations. Right here we put a 2. If it needs a lot more effort, this column is a 1. And finally, in the 0 column, that's the plagiarism column, right? If we just copy text from another author, or if it is completely off topic, like an essay that I once read that simply said, I like pizza. That was the whole essay. Be a 0. Okay. Thinking about the Dust Bowl. Here we go. The introduction makes a clear claim. The writer's argument is obvious to the reader. Okay. I'm going to say that's not a 4. Was it obvious to you what I was trying to say? If I agreed or disagreed with FDR's response? Not a 4. Wow, guys. I think that's a 1. If you look at that column, there is little or no claim. It is difficult for the reader to understand what the writer is trying to communicate. I think I'm clocking in at a 1 there. Because, let's look at this next bullet point. The argument is extremely consistent throughout the essay, right? Stays the same. So if I agree with FDR, I'm agreeing with him consistently all the way through. None of this but, on one hand, but, on the other hand, but. No, I was not extremely consistent. And in fact, guys, I would say that it's a 1. The argument is inconsistent throughout. All right, let's look at the next point on a 4. To get a 4, the argument is clearly organized. It is evident that the writer planned out the reasons that support her or his claim and explains them one by one. Each paragraph focuses on one clear reason. Did I do that? No. Do I have even more than one paragraph? No, because the end doesn't count. So I think we're straight to a 1, that the argument is disorganized. There is no clear distinction between one paragraph and the next. It's all a jumble. Do you agree? I think it's a 1. Okay, but now I know how to make it better, including our next bullet point. Consistently uses effective transitions, such as first, second. In other words, and really important for an argumentative piece, on the other hand, to orient the reader. I want to take a moment for transition words here. I have read approximately a gazillion essays in my lifetime and assessed them. Transition words are so simple and powerful because they do tell me as the reader, oh, okay, she's finished that thought and now she's moving on to a next thought. Or she says second. It's one of those small but really helpful things to use in your writing, transition words. How many did I use in my essay? No, because but can transition and signal to the reader, oh, I'm going to say something that's different. No, but they're not really effective, I would say. That's a 1. Doesn't use effective transitions to orient the reader. Okay, I know how to make it better next time. Okay, next point, the author clearly thinks through possible counter-arguments to her or his claims and addresses them thoroughly. Where you say, for example, others may say that FDR created an infrastructure that was overwhelmingly large. However, I will say that since the government with the Homestead Act was really a part of the problem, and this overgrazing of the land, they needed to take responsibility and help the people who were affected by it. Addressing counter-arguments. Some people may say that, right? And you bring up people who would argue against your position, and then you take them down one by one. Counter-arguments. Did I do that? No. Nope. That's a 1. The author does not include any possible counter-arguments to her or his claims. That's me, but next draft, am I going to do that? Oh yeah. Once I clearly establish what my claim is. Finally, in organization, a very convincing conclusion for audience which supports the claim and brings it all home. Did I do that? My conclusion is the end. No, that is a 1. I'm going to say that's no clear or convincing conclusion. Is not convinced in the slightest. Cecily. Okay, but next draft. Whew! I'm going to get my best friend, scratch paper. I'm going to plan that all out. Introduction, what's my claims? Okay, fair enough. Conclusion. Because I know that's how I get a 4 on the performance task. All right. Here we go. I've got a lot of work to do. Our next category is, of course, elaboration. And this is what elaboration is. To get a 4, your essay regularly uses relevant and specific facts and details from research in a way that clearly supports the argument. Did I have even 1 fact in there? I mean, I mentioned alphabet soup, but nope. It's a 1. Doesn't include more than 1 fact or detail. Isn't relevant. Doesn't support the argument. Okay, next draft, I'm going to do it. I'm going to include facts. And next point to get a 4, consistently cites the facts and details from the research. That is, states where the information came from. So for example, when I am rewriting and revising this essay and improving it, I would say things like, in source 2, the author mentions that Roosevelt planted over 2 million trees with his Civilian Conservation Corps. 2 million trees to block the winds, and it was highly successful. That is citing my fact when I say it was in source 2, right? Or in the article written by Joseph Schneiderblom, etc. Citing. Did I do any of that? No. 1. Next. Consistently uses strong, clear word choice. Rock that vocabulary. Use the words. Because you know what? When you say, like, but wow, do those dust storms look freaky or what? I would say that doesn't use strong, clear word choice. There's probably a much more specific and helpful word than freaky and saying or what. Word choice. I'm going to improve it in my next draft. Next up. Effectively uses elaborative techniques such as metaphor and personal experiences to support the claim. Now, those are fun, guys. Using the literary devices, the techniques that can really engage your reader and help them understand what you are trying to communicate. Did I use any? You know, it's funny because I do compare all these programs that he creates to Alphabet Soup. But did I do that effectively and did it support my claim? Nope. Nope. No, that's a 1. Okay, but next draft, whew, I'm going to think about the metaphors that I want to use, the similes, the analogies. Finally, last point in elaboration. Does the author establish and consistently maintain a formal style? Okay, formal, right? Where you are thinking about your reader and you're presenting things in a more serious and deliberate way. You do not include things like or what, spelled W-H-U-T. You don't say, That's not formal style, right? Professional. When I revise this, I am going to try to get professional and get a 4 because I would give myself a 1 here for this current draft. That's a 1. Does not establish a formal style, does not maintain a formal style. Okay, I know what to work on. Thank you, Rubric. Last category, conventions. And please note, we're going to take a moment. Please put in that the highest score you can get for having adequate conventions is a 2, right? The next column is a 1. And then these last 2 columns, 0. Because in the grading of the performance task, do conventions matter as much as the rest of the stuff? No. Here's what they want from you. A 2, the highest score you can get, just says adequate. Just wants adequate use of correct punctuation, capitalization, grammar, spelling, and sentence formation. I will say for me, this is why I read my essay over one last time before turning it in. Sentence formation. So many times I have run-ons in there. I do like comma and, comma and, comma and. And I'm like, Cecily, just end it. Put a period. Take that one really long sentence and turn it into 2. That's the kind of thing that conventions are. And let's take a moment, friends. Let's look at my punctuation. I think it's pretty good. Yep. Capitalization, heck yeah. Grammar, that's a subject and a verb. Spelling, yes. Sentence formation, yes. I'm adequate. I'm going to give myself a 2 because this is what they care about. Do errors in terms of conventions get in the way of your reader's understanding of what it is that you are trying to say? Did my conventions get in your way? I hope not. I think they were adequate. It's a 2. That's it. 3 categories, juniors. As you rock this exam one last time, think about your organization. Think about your elaboration. Make it a game, like how many relevant details can you incorporate, and do you make sure to cite which sources you got them from, and read it through one last time to catch any typos. Again, who is your best friend in helping you rock this rubric to get a 4? Scratch paper. Take your notes while you're reading the sources. Use your notes and a fresh piece of paper to organize your thoughts as you write your argumentative piece to persuade your reader of the clear claim that you make. Most important point, 11th graders, have fun and end strong.